Hey y'all, happy Monday. I'm just going to do a quick video about the fact that nothing in this world happens by coincidence. So a lot of times things happen and we start off telling a story and we say, oh my God, it was such a coincidence that this, that, and the third happened. And I have grown to learn that there's really no such thing as a coincidence. Like everything happens in order of divine timing, divine alignment, and everything that we experience is a teachable moment, right? So if you think about, let's say, running into an old friend in aisle 3 at Walmart. Think about everything that had to align and happen in order for you to be in that exact spot at the same time that that person was in that spot for you all to have that interaction. That means when you went to leave the house, you had everything that you needed to leave at the time that you left. When you got in the car, your car started. Like, you didn't make a stop at the post office or some other place that would have delayed your timing. Or maybe you did, and then that puts you at that specific time arriving at Walmart. You had to realize that you needed a certain item at a certain time. Like the thought had to pass through your brain at a certain time to prompt you to go that direction on that aisle to get that item. Like it's just so much that had to be in place that was done on such a it was done independently of anything that we really intentionally did, if that makes sense. And I believe that to be true in terms of the things that we experience in life as well. A lot of times when we pray and we ask for certain qualities to be improved upon, we see them happening in a way that that is easy or in a way that makes the most sense to us. And what I'm finding is that when I pray about certain things, I'm often tasked with an experience or a situation that then teaches me how to be more of that thing. Like I always give the example about, in my last relationship back in October, I started praying like heavily for peace and happiness. And my life just wasn't anything like that at the time. I hated my job. My relationship was not it had just ran its course. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about my ex. Like our relationship had just run its course. Like we had reached a point where we had grown to our maximum potential with each other, and it was just time to cut the cord. Nothing bad to say about him at all. It was just a lot of factors that had become of my life that was making it difficult for me to find that peace and happiness. And so when I started to pray about that, when I started to journal about those things, like things started to happen to make me then act and put myself in a position to have peace and happiness. I often pray about my life's purpose. Although I feel like I know what it is, it's something that's always on my mind. And so things will happen to draw me closer to that. And I listened to a YouTube video today. I can't remember her name, but she's like a spiritual advisor. And she said something that really resonated with me. And I actually shared it with my mom earlier. She said something, I'm paraphrasing it, but she pretty much said that sometimes you have to go through things not to find out who you are, but to be able to acknowledge who you are not. So I'm somebody, I care a lot about my image. Like my self-image, how people perceive me, it means everything to me. But it's something that I'm learning. In order for my life's purpose to have its full meaning, I have to be comfortable with every aspect of who I am. Like I can talk to anybody. Like I can be professional, and I have a side of me that's just downright, I don't want to use the word ratchet, but like I'm expressive. I like to have fun. I like hood music. I curse. I use profanity, and that's not something that I think in the mold that I was trying to fit into is not something that I was comfortable comfortable with. But that's who I am. And I'm not able to give of myself in the way that I need to for my purpose, to live out my purpose, if I'm not being myself in the way that God created me. And the thing about being yourself too, I think I'm going off on a tangent, but let me stay here for a second. The important thing about being yourself is that when you are yourself, you'll be able to reach the people that you need to reach. So the things about myself that may differ from other people that are kind of like in the same lane that I think my purpose lies within, those are the things that's going to allow me to reach people that maybe those people can't, or it's not meant for them to reach those people. And so it's so important for us to, like, just acknowledge who God made us to be, and really just dwell in that place and be comfortable in that place. But going back to the fact that nothing happens by coincidence, that's something that I have really learned to be, or something that I have started to really take more seriously. Like, I ran into my aunt today, hadn't talked to her in forever. And again, just the way that everything had to line up. Like, I worked super late. I worked like an hour past the time that I usually get off. I do not work late. And that was a part of me trying to set boundaries and, have balance in my home work life. But today I just needed to work late so that I could be at peace with my stopping point for the day. So I worked late, and then I went by Walmart. I just happened to be in the office supply aisle because I wanted to get more organized at home, because I'm going to start working from home more. And so that led me to the office supply aisle. I called my mom on the way into Walmart, which, because I was talking to her, I was kind of like, just in different sections of the store, just holding a conversation with her. I really wasn't as mindful about, okay, I need to go get this and get that. Like, I was kind of taking my time in the store. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, I ran into my aunt and we talked, and just certain things that she said were either prompts. They prompted me to reflect upon certain things, or it reminded me of like goals that I had. And it was like, girl, like, you need to get on it. And again, nothing in this world happens by coincidence. And anytime that I, anytime that I have a conversation with somebody, if I overhear somebody else talking, like, I try and figure out what about that conversation was meant for me. Like, what is the nugget that I needed to take away from that? And so look at the so-called coincidences in your life, and even if you can't make sense of them at that time, write it down, and I promise you, in the near future, a year from now, 2 years from now, you'll be able to look back at your journal and be like, dang, like, okay, this is why I needed to hear that at that time. Certain times we hear things and we store them for the time to come, like for a time to come. It's been a lot of situations where somebody told me something, and at the time I was like, I mean, that really don't apply to me, but okay. Or I came across information and I kind of tucked it away, and a year after that, I was in a situation, or something happened, and I was reminded of what that person. Look like I'm breaking out right here. I am. What the heck? It's like a heat rash. I'm sorry, y'all, but I just noticed that. Ew. I'm gonna have to someone that. But y'all see my hair falling in the back. I'm getting off track. But like a year later, something would happen, and then I'm reminded of that information that was stored or downloaded. Those are terms that I use. To me, like, I got information, like information was given to me a year prior to that, and it all makes sense. Like, it all comes full circle. So look at those things in your life, make note of them, and just be open to like life's lessons, life's experiences. If you are open to life teaching you, I promise you, like, things will happen. You will go through certain experiences, and life will just, like, life is the best teacher. Like, living life and just allowing life to happen the way that it's meant to is like the best teacher. It was something else that I wanted to say and I just lost it. Oh, and in the space of just living life, like, you will learn so much about yourself. Like, I would consider myself to be somewhat of a rebel, meaning, while I like to hear people's stories, I usually learn things best by experiencing them myself. And I know that's not the best way to live life, but in doing that, I have become more in tune with myself, where I know, like, when it's time for me to stop doing something or get out of a situation. You know, it's all happy-go-lucky at first, but then I'll start to have like an internal check. I mean, even when it comes to me not working out or not reading, like I can go some time without doing it, and it's like, oh, I'm having fun. Like I'm just gonna put that. I see a red bird. That's crazy. See, it's just little things like that. Like look up the meaning of a red bird and like, okay. But it's little things like, what was I saying? Oh, I can get off track for a while, but then internally I will start to be convicted of like not being the best version of myself. Kind of like, you know, when you're hungry and your stomach growls to let you know, sis, like we need some energy, it's time to fuel this body. That's kind of like the things that I experience now when I'm not in alignment with like the best version of myself. And by best version of myself, I mean the version of myself that I have worked hard to create up until this point. I don't believe that where I am today is where I'm gonna be in a year. I definitely hope it's not, because I'm always looking to grow and become a better person. But the best version of myself in terms of, you know, what I've worked hard to accomplish thus far. So I am going to end this video here. If anyone has any questions about anything that I said, just DM me on Instagram _Sherelle Reloaded. For my friends, shoot me a text message. You know how we do. But I really hope that this resonates with someone. I think it's important that we kind of change our vocabulary in terms of some things, because the way that we label things sometimes allows us to be more passive in our approach or passive in our understanding. But you know, when we rephrase things or when we give them a different meaning, it then starts to serve as like prompters. It creates the atmosphere for like seeing everything as a learning experience or an opportunity to grow, which I think is super important in terms of personal growth. But yeah, I will talk to you all in another video. I hope everyone is having a marvelous Monday. Even if you didn't have a great Monday, figure out why your Monday wasn't as good as it could be and make it a better Tuesday. Talk to y'all soon.